Okay, we are back on the speeder bike, and in this video I want to do the seat, but in the last video when we left off with this, I was not very happy with the way those things moved. They were kind of binded a little bit. And in the very beginning, I said I was going to lubricate those with like a white lithium grease, but instead I used a 3-in-1 oil, and that actually made them slide worse. So I went onto my AI Grok app and I asked it, what's the best lubricant for sliding brass surfaces? And the best to use is like a trombone slide oil, which makes perfect sense. But one of the, I think it was like the third best, it said white lithium grease. Then it gave me a list of things to avoid. And third on that list was 3-in-1 oil. So I used one of the worst things you could use. So I took it apart, cleaned it all up, and I put white lithium grease on it, and they move a whole lot better. I mean, not perfect, but they are a lot better than they were. And this one still kind of struggles to get up into that corner. I mean, it'll do it if it wants to, but you don't. There it went. So you don't really want to force it because, again, I don't want to break the solder joint on the other piece. So they do move a lot better. And as I say that, I'm struggling. But yeah, this is, man, that one was going a lot easier yesterday. I don't know what's up with that one. There it goes. There it is, all the way up there. So they are better. Yeah, it went back nice and easy. But they're still not great. Now, as far as the leather not bringing or not coming back up and blocking the path, I mean, that worked. But that one is still open. That one you can still see daylight through. What I did was, when I had it all apart, I brushed over the leather with about 3 layers of this. This is just a liquid latex rubber. I thought by giving it a rubberized back, it would help it spring back up into position. And it kind of works, but not as well as I was hoping for. I think the perfect solution would be to cut out all the leather and just put in like a thin piece of black rubber. I might do that later. I mean, it's not terrible. It's not completely bad, but I think I'm just going to kind of leave it as is. I'll just leave it like that. The lights, I just put some JB Weld on the LEDs to help hold those in position. Of course, the lights still work. Just a reminder from that one, just in case you didn't see the last video. That one right up there turns the lights on. So that's what the lights are looking like. So anyways, this one is pretty much done. And I've noticed that as I've worked on it, like the edges got a little bit worn from the paint. Same with the bezel around here. Those edges kind of got worn from the paint. And I think I kind of like that. It's like, you know, just from handling it, you get some free weathering. So this is pretty much done. I'm going to put this to the side because, again, what I want to work on or focus on this video is the seat. This is a paper template I made for the basic shape of the seat. So I'm going to have to transfer that onto a piece of aluminum to make a base. This is what the seat should look like when it's done. That piece right there. Notice there's about 5 smaller, I guess, sections or cushions inside. So I'm going to make that piece, and then those will be separate cushions that will kind of push in. And I do want it to be somewhat cushy, like a foam, and then it's going to be covered in leather. But the first step is to transfer that into aluminum and bend it so it'll sit right here. And I also have to figure out how to attach it. Right now, the plan is to utilize those 2 screw holes, because those 2 are attaching this to the aluminum frame here. So if I could have, like, say, that seat cushion pull out and then have the screws go in and put that seat cushion back in, probably held into Velcro, that's the ideal method. I don't know how well that'll work until I get there, so first steps first. So like I said, let me get that aluminum plate cut out and fit, and then we'll go from there. All right, so there's my aluminum piece, and cut out, filed, and sanded smooth, and bent to shape. That sets pretty nicely right there. And those two holes, I think, are going to land between those scribe lines. Those scribe lines are representing where the seam will be in the cushions. So I think I'll be able to screw that down and then put the center cushion in with some Velcro. That's the plan so far. So I have this kind of padding, which is the same thing it's resting on right now. But that's really soft and squishy. I mean, you can squeeze that down to nothing. I'm afraid if I just use that, then when I wrap the leather around it, it'll just make it completely flat. So I'm starting with a more denser foam, and I've got that cut to fit that. That'll have to curve down and glue into place. And I went ahead and cut out that center section, and this will be cut into 5 pieces to make the center cushions, and those will get individually wrapped and pushed into place. But to make the leather a little bit softer, I think I will, though, put just a thin layer of this on it. So that's the stack right there. Now to scale, this needs to be about 15 millimeters. So what I'm going to have to do is when I wrap the leather around it, pull it tight enough to where it gets me down to the 15 millimeters. And that should be pretty easy to do, I hope. But first step is to get this glued onto here, and then, well, I have to cut out the center section here too. So I got to get some foam glued together. I'll probably just use some spray adhesive. I'll probably start by just gluing that on first, and then I can cut that back out and then glue that onto here, and then start wrapping some leather on it. So I'll get back to you once I got something to show you. Oh, also, I think what I'm going to need to do, when you take a look at the seat, you'll notice that this edge is nice and rounded. And I think what I'm going to do is come in and very gently chamfer that. I need a fresh blade, but I'll chamfer that so that when this goes on it, and I pull the leather around, it'll pull that down over that chamfer and make a decent curve. That's the plan. Whether it works or not, who knows? But like I said, I'll get back to you once I got something more to show you. Okay, so I got the holes drilled for the screws, and again, that'll mount it to the body. And I've got that foam glued on. I did thin it down just a little bit so I don't have to pull the leather as tight. So what I'm going to do now is spray this with an adhesive spray, and I'm going to try this. I've never tried that before, but we'll see how well that works. You know, some of these adhesive sprays are really, really good, and some are just really garbage. So we'll see how that works. Should be fine. I'm going to do all of that except for the center, and I'll also do that. And then that will get bonded on here. And then once that's set, I'll just kind of roll that around and then trim it flush with the aluminum. And then I'll cover that with the leather. So let me get that sprayed and glued and trimmed, and then we'll show you the next step. Not sure how well this is going to work, but we'll try it. The glue stuck fine here, but not here. Not sure what's up with that. But all we can do is try it, see how it works. If it looks like crap, we can redo it. But I'm thinking if I get that somewhat centered, and I'm just going to shove that in just to hold it. Yeah, it's going to wrinkle that up. I think what I need to do is spray that and just put that on top, and then cut out the center, leaving a little bit to roll over the edge, and then pull that around. I think that'll look all right. This bend here, I think, is going to cause problems. But all we can do is try it, see how it works. So let me get this glued and see how it goes. Okay, both surfaces are sprayed, and they've been setting for about a minute, which is what the instructions say. So, like I said, if it doesn't work, we can always redo it. Probably should have pulled the tape out first. Now, if it's not obvious, I'm not an upholsterer. I've done some leather seats on some poker Mercedes. Some of you may have seen those videos. And they turned out pretty well. I was pleased with those. But those are quite a bit different from this. Forgot to sand that. What I learned on the poker builds is that CA works really well on this leather. Okay, so after I finally got those edges glued down, I went through with an X-Acto knife, trimmed it back a little bit. I got a lot more wrinkling than I was hoping for, so I came in with a new sharp blade and just kind of shaved the wrinkles off just to get rid of all the high points. And then I went over it with some CA just to kind of lock it all down better. It's not great, but I don't know. I think it'll be okay. Now, for the other side, I went ahead and started making some of those other inner cushions. That one is glued in. Those two are glued in. And, of course, those are where the screws are going to go to screw it onto the model. And I was hoping that they would have lined up under one of the cushions, but not quite that lucky. If I put that cushion in, you notice it is covering two holes. So I'm going to have to make it to where you have to put in or take out two cushions to put the seat on, or take the seat out. So there's what the seat looks like with all the little cushions in. And I honestly don't know how I feel about it. On one hand, it's not terrible. It looks okay. And it's leather and padded and squishy and like, you know, what you would want a seat to be. But on another hand, there's just something about it I can't quite put my finger on. Some of the edges aren't quite perfect. There's a few wrinkles in it. But for an upholstered cushion, you're not going to have perfectly smooth, sharp, square edges and corners. So I think that's okay. But there's just something about it that bugs me that I can't quite put my finger on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it for now. And if it continues to bug me, the more I look at it, then I'll try again. I think my biggest problem was the type of foam that I decided to use. This white foam just was really difficult to glue anything to. And the other foam I put on top, this stuff, just squishes too much, I think. So if I can find a different foam that I think would work better, then maybe I'll try again. And I'll try another seat later. But for now, it's going to have to be good enough. So that's where it is. So let's take a look at it. If we just set it on the model, there's what it's looking like. Set it on the model. Now, again, with the screws in it, it'll be pulled down a little bit firmer. But there it is. So I don't know. It'll work. I don't think it's terrible, like I said. But I would appreciate any feedback you guys have. If, let me know what you think it looks like. And be honest. So anyways, I'm going to leave this one here for now. I'm going to try to put out a short video for once. In the next video, what I would like to do is the little racks on the side here, and the little not latches, but the little hooks, clevises, whatever you want to call them, the straps, and the little knapsack thing. So I want to get that stuff done in the next video. And depending on how that goes, if that goes quickly, then there's little flap things on the back. I want to do those as well. So anyways, I'm going to leave that one for now. And until next time, as always, thanks for watching.